Hey, this is DJ C-SIK from Beat Drop, and today we're going to be talking about phrasing. So what is phrasing? Phrasing is taking two sections of a song and laying them on top of each other so that in the transition, when one part ends, a new part begins into the new song. So when you match these two phrases on top of each other, you have an alignment that doesn't break the musical structure of the tracks. If that didn't make any sense, hopefully this will help. Let's go into Ableton and I'll play out the different phrases of these tracks and I can explain it a little better for you. Okay, so here we are in Ableton, and what I've done is laid out the track so you can see all the different phrases in the song. So this is one dance, and we can take a listen to it. I'm just gonna count out the bars and count the first phrase. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. 7, and now listen for the change. 8, 2, 3, 4. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. So I just counted those last two bars of that lead in there. So basically what we had there was an 8-bar intro, and then this is what I call a lead-in before it gets into the verse. Now the next part of the song is the verse, and that is similar to the intro in that it is contained within 8 bars.
Grips on your ways, front way, back way. I pray,
another change. 3, 4.
That's why
this is
I need a one dance.
3, 4. 2, 3, 4.
One more
3,
time,
2, 3, 4, 4, 2, and 8. 2, 3, 4. And then it pretty much does the same thing like what happened in the intro, where it goes to a lead-in and then into another verse. So that's the basic structure of this song. Intro, lead-in, verse, hook, lead-in, verse, hook. The only other differences besides that is this break right here. That goes for 8 bars. And then there's a bridge here as well. And then we go back into the hook, and then we have a nice outro, which pretty much sounds like the intro. Okay, that's fine and dandy. Now let's go into the other track. So this is Aluna George, I'm in Control, and it has a similar structure. So the beginning starts with an intro. So that's 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. 7, 2, 3, 4, and 8, 2. Here comes a change. And that's the verse. So just like one dance, the intro goes into the verse, and then there's a little thing that I like to call a pre-hook. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. 7, 2, 3, 4, and 8, 2, 3, and here's the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. 4, 2, 3, 4. 5, 8. Here comes another change. This is the drop. And then 8, 2, 3, 4. Now a verse. Okay, and then just like one dance, and also like a lot of other commercial music, there's more repetition. After the verse, we go into the pre-hook, just like right over here, back into a hook. The only other weird little piece is this 1 bar plus 2 beat lead-in. And then back into the hook. And then after that, everything looks pretty normal. We have a nice little bridge here, kind of like in one dance. And then here's the hook. And then this also has a 16-bar outro. Okay, so now you guys are seeing a pattern, hopefully, that there is 8-bar hooks, 8-bar intros, 16-bar outros, all really nice multiples of each other. So in phrasing, basically what you can do is layer a track's phrase on top of another track's phrase where the length actually matches. When you do that, it'll keep the structure together and it'll sound nice and smooth in the transition. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, what I want to do is play one dance first and then play I'm in Control after it. And I'm going to choose to play on a hook. When you're first practicing this out, that's usually the easiest and most straightforward way to do this is to put an intro on top of a hook. So let's try to do that. I'm going to choose the second hook and lay it down right there. So what's happening now is, let me just open this. After the verse is done, it's going to go into the hook. And on that first downbeat of the hook, the mix will start. And what I'm going to do is just deactivate this clip. And that'll emulate me on a mixer taking the volume out or pushing the crossfader over to the other side. And so instead of going into the new verse of One Dance, it's going to go right into the new verse of I'm in Control. So let's hear what that sounds like. I'll pull it back about a bar.
Don't wanna spend time fighting. We got
So here's
no
the mix.
time, and that's why I need a one dance. Got a Hennessy
2,
in my hand. One more
3,
time before I go. Higher powers
4,
taking a hold on me.
7, 2, 3, 4, and 8, 2, 3. Here it comes.
I like crashing waves,
Nice.
but I wanna see them at first.
So did you hear that? Did you hear how it's smooth? How when one thing ended, another thing began? That's phrasing, and that's how to make your mixing and transitions sound smooth and keep flowing. Phrasing is the alignment of two different songs. Perfect. Phrasing is taking a phrase and phrasing it. Okay, now let's take that example that we saw in Ableton and bring it into Serato to see what that looks like. So very similarly, I'm going to play this right before the hook. Again, I'm going to drop the new track on the one, the downbeat of the hook, and let it run for 8 bars. And then I'm going to take out One Dance, and then we're going to go right into the verse on a Luna George. Here we go.
You know you gotta stick by me. Soon as you see the text, reply me. I don't wanna spend time fighting. We got no time, and that's why I need a one dance. Got a Hennessy in my hand. One more
8.
time, can hold on.
I like crashing waves,
And then into a Luna George.
wanna see them at first.
So exact same thing, you're just doing it in Serato and doing it with records, or CDJs, or controller, or whatever you like to use. Okay, now let's go into Ableton and I'll show you guys all the track blah 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 blah. Forward to blah 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 blah. Okay, now let's take it one step further. So sometimes you have tracks that have really standard 8-bar intros and 8-bar hooks. Other times you go into your track and there's a section that might not match that exact 8 bars, but it might be a multiple. So in that case, we just do math. Let me show you an example. So in this bridge right here, this is a full 16 bars.
Tell me, I need to know, where do you
4, 2, 3, 4, 5,
'Cause if you
8, 2, 3, 4. Then there's some drums. Kind of like a new phrase, but all still part of the bridge. Okay? So if for some reason you wanted to mix a Luna George on this bridge, instead of playing it right here, you would just play it at the second half. 16 bars minus 8 bars is 8. So you play it on the second half. So let's move this track over right to the second half. And then again, I'll deactivate this hook so it sounds like what I would be doing if I took the volume down or moved the crossfader over. And see what that sounds like. I'll pull it back about a bar.
lose control.
And then 8.
I like crashing waves,
Cool.
but I wanna see.
And it sounded pretty cool too, because it had that drum fill right at the end that kind of introduced the new verse of a Luna George. All right, next scenario. Occasionally, some tracks actually don't sound too good on top of each other, even if you align the phrases together nicely. Let me show you another example. So we went from One Dance into a Luna George. Let's go backwards. So what we want to do now is actually, maybe I'll just move this so it looks visually that way. So we want to get to the hook of a Luna George. Actually, let's do the drop, because there's a lot of stuff going on in that. And we'll put the intro on top of that, the intro from One Dance. So let me just move this all over. Pop it on the drop. So first, let's hear the drop all by itself. And then just as a refresher, let's hear the intro of One Dance. Okay, now let me pull it back a couple bars, and I'm going to play what those two sound like on top of each other.
I'm in control. I'm in control.
Okay, so hopefully you guys heard something a little off there. Basically what's happening is there are pianos in the One Dance section, and then synths in the drop. And they're both not in the same key. They're actually not harmonically compatible, and that's why it sounds so bad. So to get around this, or to avoid this, the best thing to do is to always find phrases to mix on that have very minimal melodic content. So if you can find tracks that have just the drums, for instance, the beginning of this Luna George. So that's only percussion. It's very versatile. And you can put that on top of a lot of different phrases, but the other way around, you can't. So you just gotta practice, play around with the phrases, and hear what sounds the best. Yo, check my SoundCloud. Fire. And scene. Okay, so that was phrasing. If you guys have any other questions regarding phrasing or anything else DJ related, hit us up. We'd love to hear from you down in the comments section below. All right, see you next time. If you guys have any other questions regarding phrasing or any other thing, man, I can't get through this.
You gotta slow down.